Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Jackie Travers, and I'm a Project Implementation Manager here at InTemp. And today I'm going to be introducing you to our CX5500 Cellular Gateway. I will give folks just another minute or so to join before I get started. But it looks like we have a good group so far. All right, so again, thank you everyone for joining. My name is Jackie Travers. I'm a Project Implementation Manager here at InTemp. And today we're going to be going over and introducing you to our CX5500 Cellular Gateway. Quickly, our agenda for today, we'll have a quick product overview. We'll then move into looking at the gateway comparisons and looking at the different models that we have available. I'll then go over some gateway features and functionality for all models of our gateways, and then go into the specific CX5500 features and functionality. At the end, we'll have time for questions. So if you do have questions throughout today's presentation, please go ahead and submit those to the question box, and we'll be able to get to those at the end of today's presentation. All right, so quickly, our product overview. So this is our new InTemp CX5500 Cellular Gateway. This gateway is able to connect to in-range InTemp CX loggers via Bluetooth. That excludes our CX1000 cellular loggers. So it's only going to be our CX Bluetooth loggers. And the in-range loggers would be, again, with that 100-foot range. This gateway will communicate and transmit data via cellular connection. It comes with a SIM in the gateway, and the CX Gateway annual cellular data plan is going to be added automatically at purchase. So you'll have that first year purchase included, and then or added to your purchase, and then the next year you'll go ahead and renew that. So one thing I want to call out is that this is a US product only. The SIM only supports US-based cell towers. We are looking into a global SIM that would work. We haven't found that solution yet. So for right now, this product is a US-based product only. When you do purchase the gateway, it will come with the cellular antennas. So those will allow the connection and transmission to occur, a universal power adapter, and the standard documentation that comes with all of our gateways. For this gateway, the transmission range is about 100 feet via line of sight. It communicates with the loggers via Bluetooth, and it uses that cellular Cat1 LTE connection. So quickly, you may be familiar with our other gateways. If you're not, we do have two gateway models. So the CX5001 and our CX5500, which is what we're going over today. So both gateways communicate with the loggers via Bluetooth. Our 5500, as I mentioned, communicates back to InTemp Connect using cellular data. So it's going to send that data back via cellular connection. And then our 5001 will communicate via Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection. And with that, the setup requirements for both are a little bit different. The 5500, you'll do the initial configuration in the InTemp mobile app, but you won't need to add those network setup, the network setup requirements. So when you take the 5500 out of the box, you'll plug it in. That's going to initiate the cellular connection. Whereas with the 5001 model, you're going to need to go into the InTemp mobile app and enter those network settings. You'll need to enter how you want that gateway to connect, either Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection. So the setup with the 5500 is a little bit easier. But again, both will need to be configured from the InTemp app for the first configuration. So the features on both are the same. They work with all InTemp logger models minus the CX1000 cellular loggers. And we'll go over the features of the gateway a little bit later. The pricing is a bit different. So the CX5500 is going to be $499 with a $200 annual cellular plan. As I mentioned, that cellular plan will be added at the time of purchase, and then you'll renew that yearly. And then the CX5001 is going to be $285 with a $50 annual service plan. Again, you'll renew that in InTemp Connect via Stripe payment. And then the technical specs, both gateways are pretty much identical, with the exception of the CX5500 having those cellular antennas, or bunny ears as some of us call it. But other than that, they are pretty identical. So now getting into some of our features. So using the gateway gives you a lot of great advantages. One of those being automation. So this slide goes over the automation benefits for all gateway models. So that's both the CX5500 and the 5001 model. So one thing that it does is it automates your data logger management. So with that, you can create an automated logger download schedule. So it's essentially telling your gateway to perform a customizable download type based on the schedule that you set. So if you wanted your loggers to automatically download every week and perform a download and restart, meaning that your loggers are going to restart on a new configuration or a new data set, you'd be able to set that in the gateway profile. You can also configure your event types. So if you want certain events to trigger a download of your logger, such as a new sensor alarm on a logger, you can customize that with the gateway profile as well. So on the right, you'll see the gateway profile, and this is how you can customize it to be able to determine those downloads and when they'll happen. So you can see here that this is by the gateway family. So you can have different behavior for different logger families. So CX400 behavior, CX500, and you can determine the type of download. So you can, the three types of downloads are a download and restart, which is going to restart the logger on a new configuration or a new data set. A download and continue is going to download the data from the logger, but continue logging on that same data set or that same configuration. And then the final option is a download and stop, and that's going to download the logger and stop that logger. So if you wanted to continue logging temperatures with that logger, you'd need to go in and manually reconfigure that logger. Once you set the download type, you can also set how often you want that to occur. So it can be every 12 hours, every day, every week, or every month. So once you set that schedule in your gateway profile and configure your gateway with it, the gateway is going to know to perform that scheduled download based on what you set in the gateway profile. If there are events such as a sensor alarm or an off-schedule download that someone performs, that's not going to interrupt that schedule. It will happen based on, regardless of what happened outside of the schedule, based on what you have set here. And with that, you can also automate your reporting. So when you do that, have that automated logger download schedule, it will come with an email that contains regulatory compliant reporting, and that's sent by email, or you can also access that in InTemp Connect, which is our cloud platform, and download it there. So that's a great way to get automated reports. If, for example, you have to submit a weekly report, you can set your gateway profile to have a schedule of download weekly, and that's going to create that download schedule that will be sent to you automatically, but via email or accessible within InTemp Connect. The other thing you can do is you can create gateway groups. So if you do have multiple gateways in the same location, you can create a gateway group that will prevent duplicate downloads of your in-range loggers. So if there are multiple gateways in the same area, that gateway group will know to just have one of those gateways do the download. And with that, you can combine multiple gateway models into one group. So you can have CX5001 gateways as well as CX5500 gateways in a gateway group. The next feature I'm going to talk about is, or benefit, is the real-time excursion notifications. This, again, is for all gateway models. So real-time excursion notifications can be set up for temperature, humidity, and low battery alerts. And you can set those up via text or email or both. With those alerts, you can set up as many of those notifications as you'd like. And you can also create more precise notifications by using our trip information fields, which are a way of adding data tags to your configurations. And with that, you can create a notification that for a configuration that has a trip information field of Lab A, you can have that notification go to whoever works in Lab A versus all notifications going for all locations. You can also create a data download notification. So that's going to occur anytime your logger is downloaded. And with that, you can get a notification again via text or email. And you can also include a PDF or CSV report with that notification, as long as you have that notification set as an email notification. So it's a great way to automate receiving your reports, because every time you have your logger download, it's going to send that report to the email that you have designated in that data notification. The last type of notification you can set up is a missing gateway notification, and that will allow you to get notified when your gateway is down. So you'll be able to customize this and set a time for how long you want that gateway to be down before you receive the notification. And what that's helpful for is to allow you to, if your gateway is down, it could be because the power's out. So receiving that notification is a really powerful way to be able to understand when you might need to, take action on your product or go to the location where the gateway is to make sure that everything's okay. So it helps to reduce risk. The last feature I'm going to talk about is the remote monitoring and logger capabilities. And again, this is all gateway models. This allows you to, one, configure loggers remotely. So you can go into InTemp Connect and configure an in-range logger without having to be in the direct range of those loggers. So if you're not using the gateway to configure a logger, you need to use the InTemp mobile app, and you'll have to be within 100 feet of your loggers to do that. But with the gateway, you're able to go into InTemp Connect, enter the serial number of the logger, select a logger profile, which is going to dictate the behaviors of that logger after it's configured and started. And then you're able to release that, and the gateway will then configure it automatically. You can also bulk configure. So if you have a large amount of loggers that you want to configure at one time, you can create a bulk configuration and release that. And once that's released, the gateway is going to configure all of those loggers as long as they're in range. Additionally, you can create shipments within InTemp Connect, and that's going to allow you to add a location for an origin and destination location. And with that shipment, you're able to have two different gateways that are going to start the logger, and the destination will be able to stop that logger. We also have the ability to have reverse logistics. So if you want your shipment to go from point A to point B and then back to point A, and you only want that shipment to stop when it gets back to point A, we have a reverse logistics feature which will allow the gateway to forget that logger once it's out of range for a designated time that you'll indicate in the gateway profile. Once it's out of range for that amount of time, the gateway is going to forget it. So then the next time it comes back, returns and comes back into range of that gateway, it's going to see it as a new logger and perform a download. Additionally, you can download your loggers remotely. So any in-range logger, so in range of your gateway, meaning within 100 feet of your gateway, you'll be able to download from InTemp Connect versus having to be in proximity of it with your mobile device, with the mobile app. So you can go in and select the gateway, find the logger that you want to download, and then indicate if you want that to be a download and restart, download and continue, or a download and stop. And then you'll just hit download and your gateway will perform that download. Again, sorry, I talked about this a bit earlier, but you do have the ability to create shipments within InTemp Connect. You can create and manage those shipments from InTemp Connect. And with that, you're able to have that origin and destination. And you can also have points in between. So if there are waypoints in between and there are gateways at those locations, they can also download that logger data and send any notifications of any alarms. From InTemp Connect, you can also manage your gateway. So you're able to change the gateway configuration directly from InTemp Connect. As I mentioned earlier, that first time configuration will need to happen from the InTemp mobile app. Once that initial configuration is complete, you're then able to manage your gateway only from InTemp Connect. You don't need to use the mobile app anymore. So that's another great way that you can use the remote capabilities. So those were all features that are benefits of using the gateway in general. Our CX5500 gateway does run on a cellular data connection. So that means that you don't need to connect an outside third-party device to your network. So a lot of people may have security restrictions or policies within their organization that will prevent them from being able to connect a third-party outside device to your network. So our 5500 gateway kind of solves for that problem because all you need to do is plug it in and it uses that cellular connection. There's no need to connect it to your network at all. And it's a secure encrypted connection. So it's going to send your data via an encrypted connection. So as I mentioned, that means no Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection required. So if you're at a location that has spotty Wi-Fi or even no Wi-Fi or Ethernet, this is going to be a great solution for you. The setup with the CX5500 gateway is a bit easier. You won't need to go into the app and do any of the network setup. You'll just need to plug it in, launch the app, and configure that gateway. And this is ideal for customers who, again, have those security policies that won't allow for that third-party connection to a device within their network, or have other security concerns about having a third-party device within their organization. So this eliminates that and really helps you to reduce your risk. It allows you to be more hands-off with that automation, and allows for those remote capabilities where you can go into InTemp Connect from anywhere, perform a download on your logger, and or even configure your logger remotely, as well as those automated report and downloading schedules that will occur based on your gateway profile. So that is everything I have for today. I'm going to go ahead and ask if there are any questions. And if you do have questions, please submit those to the question box and we'll be able to get to those as they come in. I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. So the first question I have here is, how often can you send data to the cloud? So by default, the gateway is going to check into InTemp Connect every 10 minutes. So if there is something that needs to be sent, that data will be able to send every 10 minutes if needed. But if there are no events, so meaning no logger alarms or low battery alarms, etc., it's only going to connect based on the schedule you set up in your gateway profile. So that's that scheduled download that has the 3 download types and can be set up every 12 hours, every day, every week, or every month. However, if you do have it set up to include events in that connection type, it's going to perform a download of the logger anytime there's a logger event, meaning a logger alarm, so a high or low temperature excursion, a relative humidity high or low excursion, or a low battery excursion on the logger. It will connect and do an off-schedule download of that and send that data back to InTemp Connect. Okay, so the next question is, what is the power consumption? Could it work with battery backup and solar panel? That is something I am not 100% sure on. It does need to be plugged in. Whether there's a power bank that works off of solar, that could be a solution. I will need to reach out to you offline about that because I am not 100% sure on that. I apologize. The next question is, will it come with a worldwide chip? Right now, it's a US-only product. The SIM works for US-based cell towers. We are looking into a global SIM that will work and allow it to be used globally. We just haven't gotten to that solution yet. So the next question is related as well. Is it possible to set up a local SIM in each country? Right now, this is a US-based product only. When we do have that global SIM available, you'll be able to use that in the supported countries, but right now we don't have that solution available. Okay, so the next question is, maintains Wi-Fi connection along with cellular phone as a backup. I am unsure of what you're referring to. If you can just submit another question to the question box about what you're referring to as far as the Wi-Fi connection and cellular phone as a backup, we can get circle back to that question. So the next question is, with the 5500, do you have to be in range to check temperatures? So no, you can go onto InTemp Connect and do an off-schedule download and continue to pull your logger data and view that logger data from the time that you perform that download and continue. Your logger will still keep logging on that same data set, so it's not going to interrupt your configuration. You would just need to open up that logger data to view your temperatures. But you don't need to be in range. Your 5500 will be able to pull that as long as your loggers are in range of the gateway. So the next question I have here is, you mentioned that the gateway can provide reports after downloading through gateway configuration. Okay, so I think you're looking at the gateway configuration page, you'll want to look at the gateway profile to make sure that you have your schedule set up correctly, and then you're going to want to set up a data notification so that anytime your logger is downloaded, you're going to get that report. All right, let's see what the next question we have here is. So this question is, on the loggers, when you download, are you supposed to download and restart for VFC? So that's totally dependent on your use case. If you are setting up a gateway profile and you're setting up the download schedule on that profile, you can set it up to fit what you need. So if you have, for example, a weekly report that you need to submit, you can set up your gateway profile to have a schedule of download every week, and that's going to get you all of your weekly data. Whether you want that to be a download and restart, that is up to you. One thing to take into consideration is that your loggers do have a finite amount of memory, so performing a download and restart will help to reduce the risk of your logger memory filling up. But again, all of the schedules are at your own discretion, but they can be used to automate your reporting based on how often you need that. So if you needed it weekly, you can set it to weekly. If you needed it monthly, you could set it to monthly download. But the type of download is definitely up to you, with just keeping in mind that the logger memory does fill up. So the next question is, what cellular network does this run on? I believe the SIM is an AT&T SIM. The next question is, can you just look at your temps on the loggers remotely, or do you have to run a report? So if you're remote, you're not going to be able to see that logger data in real time. The only way you'd be able to see the logger data when you're remote is if you perform a download of that logger using the logger download page. You wouldn't be able to see, there's no, we don't have a dashboard feature that shows in real time, but performing that logger download from the logger download page will allow you to pull that data and view the readings up until the time where you ran that report. And that's, again, if you're remote. If you are in range of your loggers, you can also use our app. You can log in and see the current temperature of your loggers. But again, that requires you to be within 100 feet of your loggers with your mobile device. But the gateway allows you to do that remote check by going in and doing that remote download. Okay, so the next question is, when I do download my loggers, my logger alarm goes off as if my temperatures are out of range, and they are not. Any idea why? I think I would need to reach out to you, Allison, offline to discuss why that might be happening. The only thing I can think of is if you have the audible alarm on, sometimes when you restart it, that audible beep does happen when you do the restart, but I will try and reach out to you so we can figure out why that might be happening. Okay, so the next question is, if we have the CX5001, can we return it for credit if we get the 5500? Unfortunately, I actually am unsure on that. I don't think so. But you can definitely reach out to sales about those kind of inquiries. I don't think so, though. I think you would still have to keep that 5,001. Okay, so the next question is it's that clarification on the question earlier. So regarding the question of whether it has Wi-Fi and cellular, they're just wondering if the 5500 has both Wi-Fi and cellular. So it only has cellular. It runs on the cellular network, and that cellular SIM that's included with it. It doesn't have the option to add Wi-Fi as a backup. So the next question is, can you show again how you create a report from the gateway? Let me just change screens quickly, and I can actually show you in InTemp Connect. Okay, so if you want to do a logger download, to do that, you'll go to Logger Controls, download a logger, and then you'll select your gateway. So this is my 5500 gateway, and I can see the loggers that are in range of my gateway. So I'm going to go ahead and download my ambient logger. I'm going to do a download and continue, and I'll click on download. So this is going to download that logger data. Since I selected download and continue, it's going to keep logging on that same data set, but it will download the data up until the point that I selected download and continue. You can see the download request here. So this is still processing. It can take up to 10 minutes for it to process based on the last time your gateway performed its gateway check-in. But it could be a lot quicker than that. It's just 10 minutes is the maximum. Once you have that download, you can go to find that data in logger data. So I can see here my ambient logger was downloaded. I'm able to open that by clicking on the logger label, and I can export that report data here. Or if I wanted to automate that so that every time that download occurs, I can set up a data notification so that I don't need to go in and actually run that report or export it. So to do that, I'd go to System Setup, Notifications, and then I would create a data notification. So I'm going to select Data, click Add, and then I'm going to say I want to include a PDF report. If you want a CSV file, every time that download occurs, you can select CSV, and then you just enter the destination. So that's going to be my email. Save. And now anytime my gateway performs a download of my logger, as long as it's in range, I'm going to receive a data notification in my email that also includes that report with it. So that's how you can automate that report. Also, when you're, regardless of if you do that download logger from InTemp Connect, or if you do a download from the mobile app, it's also going to automatically send you that that report based on your gateway profile. So when you're setting up your gateway profile, as I mentioned, you would create that scheduled download. So I'm going to say I want a download and restart every week. So if I wanted to get a weekly report of my logger, so a single device report every week, I could say download and restart every week. And so then every week at the same time, my gateway is going to perform that download based on my notification for that data notification with the report. I'm going to get that report sent to me automatically based on this automated schedule. So the next question is, will the alarm notifications via text be in real time? So they're near real time. So what happens is when you get your logger alarms, so meaning it has that high or low temperature alarm or relative humidity, it's going to force the gateway to connect to it immediately. So it's going to immediately connect. It's going to perform that download and continue. And then once that gets sent back to InTemp Connect, it's going to send out that text notification. So it probably does take a few seconds, but it is in near real time. So as long as you have that logger notification set up and you have your text set up as the notification type, you will get that in near real time. All right, so I am not seeing any more questions, but if you have any more, please go ahead and submit those to the question box and we can get to those as they come in. If no more questions come in, I just want to thank you for joining today. And please feel free to reach out to myself or to sales with any questions about this. But again, if there are any questions, please go ahead and submit those to the question box. Okay, so the next question is, do you have to have a gateway if you're using your cell phone with the loggers? So you don't need to use the gateway, but the gateway does provide all of those automation benefits and the remote benefits, as well as allowing for you to receive notifications about any of those logger excursions. So if you're not using the gateway, what you're going to lose out on is being able to get have those scheduled downloads. You'll lose out on receiving those text and email notifications when there is a logger alarm, as well as the automated reporting. And you will need to be within 100 feet of your loggers to be able to connect to them and do any downloads or see the temperatures on your loggers if you're only using the mobile app. So the next question is, how do I set up a tech support meeting to ensure I have everything set up properly? So if you want to reach out to tech support, you can email them at intemphelp@onsetcomp.com, or you can visit our website and go to resources where you'll be able to send in a ticket that will connect you with tech support. We also do have bi-weekly trainings. The bi-weekly trainings are free, and they go over, we have a basic user training and then a system administrator training. So the system administrator training goes over the entire account setup within InTemp Connect, so that will help you with setting up your gateway profile, your logger profiles, notifications. If you do want to use trip fields, we go over that as well. And then our basic user training goes over configuring your gateways and loggers and downloading reports, both in the mobile app and in InTemp Connect. So you're definitely free to sign up for one of those as well. You can sign up for those on our website as well in the resources section. And again, those are free and they're bi-weekly. So the next question is, are the current data loggers we use with the 5001 compatible with the 5500? Yes, all loggers, with the exception of our cellular loggers, are compatible with the 5500. So they'll work the same way as your loggers work with the 5001. They'll just be communicating via that and sending the data back via cellular connection. So I'm not seeing any more questions, but please go ahead and submit those. I know we have a few minutes left, so I'd love to get to a few more questions if you have them. So you can go ahead and submit any questions to the question box, and we'll get to those as they come in. All right, so it doesn't look like there are any more questions. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining today. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. You can also reach out to sales with any questions. And if you are interested, we do have those bi-weekly trainings. You're welcome to sign up for those at any time. And those are available to be on our website under resources. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you.